Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Let's talk about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about. Let's talk about. Yeah. Let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Happy Monday. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host. And Conversations with Nicole is a talk show based in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. And today is what I call Mindset Monday, which is an opportunity for you, me, and my guests to talk about whatever it is we want to talk about. And today we are talking about holiday conversations. Holiday conversations, normalizing talking about mental health with family and friends. Normalizing the conversation around mental health with family and friends, which is what we are all about, right? We are seeking to normalize the conversations of mental health and wellness in Black and Brown communities and eliminating the stigma around counseling and therapy. So I am super excited and delighted to have my very special guest, Miss Belinda Gordon Battle, on with me tonight. But before I bring her on, I want to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? In the comments, on Facebook, on YouTube. Let us know by putting your city and your state in the comments so we can give you a shout out. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and on the Greater Works Network on Roku TV. So tag a friend and let them know they need to be right here with us tonight. This is an interactive live, and we fully expect to hear from you tonight. This is a safe space for us to communicate with one another, express ourselves, learn from one another, and just love on each other because we need a little more love in the world today. All right. So I see you, my cousin Denise in Texas. Thank you for being here. Chief Terrell Bowman here in Tallahassee. Greetings and happy holidays. Thank you for being here, Chief. Can always depend on you. And Mr. Jerry, DJ Groove checking in here in Tallahassee. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. So, y'all, it's been a pretty chilly one here in Tallahassee and about to get chillier. So, y'all bundle up and be safe out there because these cold mornings and evenings ain't no joke. It is winter, of course. The holidays are approaching. So, again, we want people to be safe out in these streets. So while the rest of you all are coming on, and I see you, Nick Range, Jackson County, by way of Tallahassee, thank you for being here. Miss Marjorie, greetings, good evening. Thank you for being here, my sister in Central Florida. All right, so while the rest of the folks are logging in, I am going to go ahead and introduce my guest. Miss Belinda Gordon Battle is a licensed clinical therapist and life consultant based in Miami, Florida. While providing therapeutic services across the globe for individuals, children, and adults, families, couples, and organizations to receive counseling and support services that address mental health and mental well being. The name of her company is BGB, which is Belinda Gordon Battle Counseling Services. And her clients and colleagues call her an advocate of removing the stigma and normalizing the therapeutic process. She, again, is a licensed mental health counselor here in Florida, a qualified licensed supervisor. She attended Hampton University She also attended University of Virginia, Johns Hopkins, Berry, Florida Atlantic, University of Florida, of South Florida, rather. She's received her diversity, equity, and inclusion workplace certification, and she has a host of projects that she is involved in. When I tell y'all, this woman is busy. I mean, she's a Forbes magazine mental health advisor and contributor. She also has a podcast, contributes to the My Two Cents podcast. She's a content producer for Mental Health and Wellness for the Culture. Several service organizations she's involved in. But let me read y'all her philosophy. Her philosophy is mental wellness aligns with all aspects of your overall health. She encourages you to just be open to the process and try therapy with an engaging and objective therapist that is willing to support your efforts towards self awareness and self actualization. So, y'all, help me welcome Miss Belinda Gordon Battle.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. I need to take you with me and just have you introduce me everywhere.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you so much for having me on
We are so glad.
Conversations with Nicole.
Absolutely. So glad to have you. So you part of my South Florida clinician connection, which is growing stronger and stronger. So I'm glad to know I have somebody else in the 305-954 area that is making things
Absolutely.
happen.
I
Yes.
feel like, Mama, I made it. I'm on Conversations with
Oh my
Nicole.
gosh, stop it. No, I appreciate you. All right, so let me give a few more shouts out, and then I'm gonna have you tell us who are you. All right, so I see my cousin in love, Fred Killings, down in Miami. He has a nonprofit which I just found out about, so I'm gonna get more information on that. Mr. Derek Standifer, Dr. Derek Standifer, who is in Atlanta. Listen to him. Thank you for your service and consistency. Hardest working person in Florida. You are so kind, my brother. I appreciate you. Miss T and Tally, thank you for being here. Miss Janice, good evening. Thank you for being here. And my cousin Denise is saying welcome to you.
Thank you.
All right. So Belinda, tell the people, who is Belinda Gordon Battle? Not what you do, but who are you?
I love that question. It's a great question. I am a country girl from Virginia that decided I wanted to be a counselor when I was in the seventh grade and have made every effort to reach that goal. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister. I'm someone that loves HBCUs. The greatest HBCU, of course, is Hampton University. Oh, wait. I'm trying to interrupt my little monologue here. Wait a minute. Nicole, what's going on? Let me repeat that in case everybody didn't hear. The greatest university, Hampton University, located in Hampton, Virginia, but I am a lover of all HBCUs. I'm also a supporter of a school in Sierra Leone called Army Academy. And I am someone that really believes that mental wellness is our wealth, and especially for Black and Brown people, that as soon as we understand how important it is to be healthy mentally, more things will come together for us.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And the HBCU love is real. So we just gonna leave it there.
Can I tell you a quick story? I just left Tallahassee.
Really?
About during the Thanksgiving
Okay.
break. And I'm just gonna say Olene's.
Oh, okay.
Not just for the food, because they fed us well, but the community of people that were there loved on my children and me, and they did not know us from the next person.
Nice.
And that was just a blessing to be across the street from FAMU and have that experience. And all I can say is Olene's and Raleigh. Is it Raleigh? The African American Museum, Raleigh Home.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Raleigh
the
Museum.
John G. Raleigh Museum.
Oh,
Yes. Raleigh
I was
House.
just blessed by Tallahassee during my
Yeah,
visit. Thank you so much. That's
indeed. You're
home.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, Olene's is a popular spot here in Tally, and boy, on many a morning, the line is out the door for that breakfast.
Yes,
So,
I believe it.
good. Well, glad you got
Mhm.
to experience a taste of Tallahassee
I did. I did.
recently. So you have to come back soon.
I will definitely.
Good
Definitely.
deal. Good
Mhm.
deal. So, since I have a clinician on, I like to read my disclaimer before we jump on in. All right. If that's all right with you.
Yes.
All right. And that is that all topics, past, present, and future, on Conversations with Nicole are for informational purposes only. They are not to be used as a diagnosis for treatment or an answer to any personal issues related to the topic being discussed before, during, or after the program. So, we do want to encourage you to connect with a clinician, and if you need assistance with that, reach out because we can definitely help you with that no matter where you are in the country. All right. So, couple more shouts out. Miss Tracy Golay here in Tally. Thank you for being here. And my sister Shayla, my blood sister, is
Oh,
chiming in down in South Florida. So thank you for being here. Oh, we got Vanetta, Miss Vaughn. She is a clinician in Charlotte, North Carolina, autism specialist. Thank you for
uh-huh.
being here.
That's great work. Yes.
Indeed,
Hmm.
indeed, indeed. All right, so let's talk about this topic: holiday conversations. People about to, be gathered. We already gathered probably for Thanksgiving. Some people have Friendsgiving, but Christmas, Kwanzaa, Boxing Day,
Right.
Three Kings Day, New Year's is coming up, and people will be gathering, and so we'll be having some conversations around the dinner table or maybe around the television or just wherever we gather and talk with one another. So holiday conversations and normalizing the conversation around mental health with family and friends. Now whew, how do you even begin with that?
Yeah. It's so important that we do begin and that we are courageous in beginning that conversation. And it
Hmm.
only takes one person from the family to begin that conversation. Actually, visualize yourself having a moment with family members where you open up and you say what you may doing for your own mental health and your own mental wellness. And instead of just saying, "How are you doing?" when we see each other, just really say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how have you been feeling? Are you happy? Do you have moments of sadness? Is there anything else that I can do as your family member to support you right now? And really let family members know that our ups and downs, our mental health, our mental wellness, that is part of life, that is part of living, and we don't have to keep it a secret any longer. We keep family recipes a secret, but we need to start sharing our mental health and our mental wellness with each other.
I love that. I love that. We keep family recipes a secret, but
Yeah.
we don't need to be keeping uh, mental illness,
Mhm.
mental unrest.
Yeah.
We don't need to be keeping that a secret. We need to be talking about it,
Mhm.
right? So,
Absolutely.
so let me ask you your thoughts around comfortability in sharing that
Mhm.
because that may not be something that you may want to be selective with who you share that with.
Mhm. Yeah. I think because there's so much going on in social media and on TV that sometimes we don't even have to say exactly what's going on with us personally. We can have a broad, general conversation
Mhm.
about what's going on in the world and help our young people, help our elders, help each other, just continue that conversation. It may have to be done privately, but if we want our family members to be comfortable, we have to speak out loud um, at the dinner table, after we say grace, before we say what we are grateful for, before we start our TikTok challenge, just having a round robin of where are you mentally? How are you taking care of yourself? Those times when we have family members that sit in a corner or we whisper to each other, oh, she's not well. Oh, he always acts like that. Oh, he's going to overindulge as far as alcohol or drugs are concerned every holiday. Oh, he's going to get into a fight. We say that to each other in anticipation of these things occurring. But the backstory to that is that person may not be in a space of mental wellness. So instead of us just speaking about it, this is a call to action. I'm asking everyone to go to your family, go to your friends, and speak up and speak out about mental health.
Okay. I love that call to action. Now, you mentioned that there's so much going on in the world, and immediately when you said that, I thought about the recent suicide of our brother Twitch. And so that might be a way to kind of bring up the conversation around mental health and wellness. Um,
Absolutely.
so this is an interactive live, so I'm going to present a question to our viewers. And so I have been deeply affected by the death of Twitch because, he would appear to us from the outside looking in to be happy, to have it together, to um, just be doing well. And so, you know, I don't even really know kind of what question I want to ask, but maybe the question is, would you feel comfortable in your upcoming gatherings mentioning the suicide of Twitch in order to bring up the conversation around mental health and wellness? So if you could just give me a thumbs up or raise your hand or give me a church finger or something like that in the comments and let me know.
That's a great question.
Yeah. I see you, Isis. Thank you for being here. Isis is a clinician in Little Rock, Arkansas.
I love that name.
Yes. All right. Marjorie said, absolutely. Thank you, Marjorie. Yeah, I don't think we talk about these types of things enough. I think there's definitely some thoughts around when you talk about suicide that plants seeds of suicide in people's head and causes them to have suicidal thoughts and ideations, and that myth has really been dispelled. Yeah,
It's
so
definitely a myth
mm,
that speaking on it causes it.
right.
Anyone that is experiencing suicidal ideations has been experiencing them prior to you speaking
Mm,
on them. But the fact that you may be able to show some empathy,
yeah,
show some concern, some care, and just kind of acknowledge that that thought may be there can actually be an opening for that
right.
person to get some support, some help, and continue that dialogue.
Hmm.
You will be surprised at what you can do by just saying, "This is going on in the world. How has it affected you? What are your thoughts about it?" Especially to young people, they
Yeah.
are talking about it on social media, and we are not aware.
Hmm.
We are not. When I say we, I mean the older generation. We are not as connected as we think we are.
Yeah.
They're having entire dialogues and conversations amongst themselves. And I want to make sure you understand that when we have this conversation, it's important to know your resources. Right
Mm,
now, 988, and this should be as common to us now as 911, but 988 is the suicide and crisis hotline that came into effect last summer here in the United States of America. Every young person should know this number. We should be teaching that right along with 911.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a first step for them to get more information without, if they feel like they can't speak to an adult, or they can even share something that's going on in their friend circle. But
Right.
they're already talking about what happened to Twitch. What happened? How did that happen to him?
Yeah.
Because we saw him dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
they're already having that conversation.
Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure. For sure. All
Yes.
right. So 988, just definitely want to make sure folks are aware of that. You can call or text that number
Mhm.
if you are in crisis. All right. Lynette, let me just say hey. She says she's traveling to Myrtle Beach. Almost there. Happy holidays, family. Love y'all. Love you too, Lynette. Thank you for being here.
Safe
All right.
travel.
Isa says this part on connecting thought. This generation is very active on social media with organizing conversations on mental health,
Mhm.
etc. Yes.
This is true. And we
Mm,
want to make sure that those conversations lead to action. It's not
yeah.
just talk, but they know which direction to go, who they can reach out to as they are having those conversations.
Mm-hmm. All right, Fred said, "What are the signs?" Fred, we're gonna get back to this in just one moment, but before we do, Marjorie said, "I just feel if someone has a moment of transparency and states, 'I am not okay,' that it's worth a follow-up question, conversation, or a listening ear." For instance, Twitch said in a video right before his transition, he is not okay. Who was listening? Same applies to your friends and family for cries of help. Pay attention and connect with others. Absolutely,
Absolutely. I love that,
Marjorie.
Marjorie, because that's the call of action part. That's the
Yeah.
part where we have to take the next step. So we're starting to learn how to listen and to hear that, but we have to take the next step. If someone
Mhm.
is saying, I am not okay, then what? Then we need to introduce them to a professional clinician.
Yes.
Sometimes it's non-traditional in our community. Sometimes that means, Margie, I need you to go with me for
Mm.
that first visit with the counselor. I need you to be on the phone to help me call that counselor
Yes.
because you were the first person to realize that I said I am not okay.
Mm-hmm.
I may need your support more now than ever because you heard
Absolutely.
me when I said I was not okay. So the call of action is there. Thank you so much for sharing that, Margie.
Absolutely, Marjorie. That is a very good point. And actually, my 9 to 5 is as a behavioral health navigator, connecting people with mental health and substance abuse resources. So, on the information that I disperse, my work cell phone number is on there. So if someone needs assistance in making that call to schedule an appointment, I'm here for it.
Mm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
We have to do things that are a little bit non-traditional. I
Mm-hmm.
encourage my colleagues when we get together and talk about how we can benefit our community, that we don't allow ourselves to be closed in our office.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we actually go, if you're working in a school, you actually leave your office space and you go through the cafeteria and you talk to the young people during recess. If you're working with the elderly community, that you do that same thing. You sit down and you have that cup of tea so you can hear, like Margie was saying, so you can hear, I'm not okay.
Mm-hmm. For
You
sure.
know what you, mhm.
For sure. All right. Jerry said people need to be encouraged to talk about their mental issues instead of us having fear of being judged.
Speak on it, Jerry. No judgment. We have to have those conversations without judgment with our family members and our friends. We are so accustomed to being judged.
Mm-hmm.
We as a people
Yeah.
are accustomed to being judged. We are
Mm-hmm.
so critical of each other that we have a tendency to speak in terms of criticism. So we have to practice that first ourselves to make sure that we are not speaking from a place of judgment when we talk about mental health. Mental health is not an issue. Mental illness is not an issue that says that someone is weak. It actually says that I'm having a moment and I need some support and some guidance to work through it. And I'm strong enough to seek that, to look out for someone who can help me through this process. But we
Mm-hmm.
definitely, as a community, are so accustomed to being judgmental and being judged. And yes, gossiped about. I'm jumping ahead because I'm excited. Y'all are hitting all these points. I'm sorry, Nicole.
No, you fine.
Yeah,
You right on
yes.
point.
And
Mhm.
speaking in out of a place of judgment or shame. And we
Mhm.
have to make sure that we stop that in our families. We have to pull those persons aside. When I say our families, I mean our entire community.
Yes.
We have to stop and pull those persons aside and say, excuse me, I feel like this is important to you, but the way that you are addressing this person or the way you're addressing this group, it feels like you're coming from a place of judgment.
Mhm.
Sometimes people don't realize it. They're so accustomed to it.
Yeah.
They don't
No, that's
realize it.
a very good point, Belinda.
Yeah.
We can be accustomed to talking about one another and about ourselves in that way. And
Yeah.
so, we've got to do a better job of not doing that. And so, just the way you stated it just then in terms of kind of calling it out and
Mhm.
not in a scolding or belittling way, but just like truth and love, like, hey, you know, that's giving these types of feelings and vibes,
Mhm.
as it relates to this conversation. And we want to try to move away from that. We want to try to
Mhm.
move towards truth and love, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
hmm Isis says this part, what you say and how you say it can
Mhm.
shut folks down.
Yes. Yes.
hmm
We have to be sensitive. We
We
have
do.
to be empathetic. We have to
hmm
be caring.
Yeah.
What one thing I found that works is going to that person and saying, "What outcome did you want to have?"
Hmm. Good question.
Let's start from there, and then
Mm-hmm.
work our way backwards. Because the way you approached it, I bet you didn't meet your outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back and see what was the outcome. When we had that conversation, did you want this person to know you cared about them and give them more insight and
Mm-hmm.
support? Or did you want them to walk away feeling bad about themselves, feeling worse about themselves than when they started? What was the outcome?
Mm.
And it's okay to go back and fix it.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't let it stay there if that's not the outcome you wanted. Take a deep breath. Think about what you want to say. Go
Yeah.
back to that person and apologize and say, let me
Mm.
start again.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yes.
okay.
It is okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
So Fred said, I think it should be okay to say you're not okay.
Yes. We
Mm-hmm.
have to normalize that, right, Fred?
Yeah.
And make sure that we say it too. Because we're
Mm-hmm.
so quick. How you doing? I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm blessed and highly favored. Keep going. Does that not
Right.
happen every single day?
It does happen every
It
single
does.
day.
It
Every
does.
single day. All
One of
right.
the most amazing things I found recently is when an HR consultant or advisor, administrator will call and say, come spend time with my employees. You
Mm-hmm.
help me identify if they're okay.
Mm.
I'll leave the room. I'm not going to be there. It'll be confidential. It could be a lunch, but you
Mm-hmm.
spend time with them and you help me to understand what their needs are.
Okay.
That's taking it another step. Mhm.
That is because now you're a neutral third party, and hopefully they will feel comfortable enough to express themselves. Sometimes that can be a little awkward with a quote unquote stranger,
Mhm.
but sometimes you feel more comfortable talking to strangers than you do to somebody that that you may believe may be judgmental.
Absolutely. I have found it to be very effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. I said I was going to go back to Fred's question, which was, what are the signs? What are the signs?
Yeah. I'm not sure
So
what
we
he's
were
speaking when he
talking
says that.
about suicide at the time,
Oh,
and some of the conversation around not being okay. So, what could be some of the signs
okay.
of not being okay?
I'll
And
just touch upon that. And
okay.
then also, Fred, I just want you to remember that, and anyone listening, that if you do see signs, it's a call of action. It's not just for us to observe signs and be aware of signs, but to know signs are there. There's a call of action that needs to follow. I want to make sure that you support that person, help them get to a licensed professional counselor, to a hospital if needed, or call 988 so they can get the support they need. Some of the signs we look for is if someone starts to give away prized possessions, things that they have always enjoyed or consider to be a part of them, they give it away to you just, out of the blue. Um, if the person's appetite changes, their sleep pattern changes, if their everyday grooming and appearance all of a sudden shifts and changes, almost like I'm not as concerned about how I present in the community, in the world, the workplace, in the
Mm.
family anymore. If they begin to withdraw when they may have been active, or if they all of a sudden become extremely active when they were more subdued, laid back type of person.
Mm.
It's also important to be aware that vicariously we can have trauma and directly we can live through trauma.
Mm.
So when things go on in our community, when someone is hurt, there's domestic violence. If someone has been molested, or they even hear about someone being molested, and it changes their disposition. Um, Current things, just like Twitch committed suicide. Um, there are things going on in our community that are shared, and when you see the person that you care about responding in a way that is uncomfortable to you, um, on your behalf.
Yeah,
Listen to your gut. That's really important.
indeed, indeed. No, that thank you for sharing those things. So, Fred, I hope that addressed your question. If you want some clarity or have a follow up, by all means, please share it in the comments.
Yes.
So I am going to pause right here for what I call my station ID, station break. So for those of you who may be just joining us, I am on with Miss Belinda Gordon Battle of BGB Counseling Services based in Miami, Florida. And we are talking holiday conversations, normalizing talks on mental health and wellness amongst our family and friends, and we are encouraging folks to do that over the holidays. Before we continue on with the conversation, again, this is my station break, and I do have an underwriter for today's show, and that is the Southside Arts Complex based here in Tallahassee, Florida. It's a cultural arts hub that is returning to the Town South Shopping Plaza, and they are seeking our support. So they want us to go to their southsideartscomplex.org website, sign the petition for the return of the Southside Arts Complex. You can make a donation there. And for more information, call the number 850-938-7964. Again, that's 850-938-7964. So thank you, Southside Arts Complex, for supporting Conversations with Nicole in today's Mindset Monday. All right. So Marjorie had a question that I wanted to put up, and it is, what advice do you have for those who measure the issue that is putting someone over the edge? For example, people say it's not that serious, but an issue may be not as serious to you, but it is life altering and damaging for them.
So that's an interesting question because I think we have to be careful about how we allow other people to decide what's important and what's not important.
Mm-hmm.
If you or someone that you are interacting with, engaging with, feel like the issue is serious, then it's serious. And if
Mm-hmm.
you have someone in your circle or have someone that's passing by that does not seem to think that that issue is serious, it's okay for you to take a break and walk away from that person and not allow them to enter your thoughts, not allow them to change what you believe at that moment, but to give yourself and whoever the other person is a chance to work through what you consider to be a serious issue. Um, it, and I know sometimes it's like our elders are saying this or someone we respect and honor. It's not that you're being disrespectful, it's that you are protecting yourself, protecting your peace, and making sure that you understand what's important to you, that you are validating your own feelings, validating your own thoughts, validating your own actions, and that you are actually in a position to say, I heard what you were saying, but I'm going to move over here and talk to other people that understand me better at this time. It's okay for you to take a step away from that person that does not validate who you are at that time.
Again, very well said. I think sometimes real time, because that can come off as quite confrontational. It may be um, challenging to know what to say in those moments.
Mhm.
So to hear the words that you are offering to us tonight, I think is very helpful and meaningful.
Yes.
Because oftentimes maybe we may get offended and go straight to anger, right? Or get
Mhm.
in our feelings, and now, or we shut down,
Right.
right?
Right.
So yeah, I just this is very empowering to hear the
Yeah.
words that you're sharing with us tonight.
And before we get angry and before we shut down, it's really important to remember that you're practicing being empathetic too. So you
Hmm.
can look at that person and say, "Oh, you don't have the capacity." You don't have to say that
Hmm.
loud. You can have this thought to yourself. You don't have the capacity to process what I'm going through right now. I'm going to
Hmm.
get with people at this moment who have the capacity to deal with what I'm going through. And when I need something from you, I'll come back to you for that.
You know,
But
again, another great point, right? So we're talking about holiday conversations, but recognize that everyone, all of our family and friends and loved ones may not have the capacity to hold space for us,
mhm,
right? Holding space for people it's a special thing. It's like a gifting in some regards. I will say, because you're taking on what people are going through, their emotions, their feelings, their thoughts, their actions, their behaviors. And so, yeah, they may not have the capacity. So recognize that and
mhm.
redirect.
Yes, redirect. I always use the hashtag just be. I've used that hashtag since I don't know, forever. I used to live in the DMV and I used it there. But
Hmm.
it's okay for you, wherever you are, to just be who you are.
Yes.
You don't have to be anyone else at that time and in that space. And as we gather together for holidays, even if you're in your own house and you have a
Mm-hmm.
thousand people there, go ahead to the bathroom, run to your room, take a deep breath, take 5 minutes to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and gather your own thoughts. It's really important for you to take care of yourself
Yes.
during the holidays.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Thank you, Keisha.
Yes. Thank you, Keisha, for being here. Isa said it's okay to say you don't have the bandwidth or know how to hold
Yeah,
space. It is okay. It is okay. And maybe point somebody in the direction to someone who can. I mean, and when I say someone who can, it's not just necessarily the next family member or, friend in the circle. It could be a clinician. It could be, a counselor, a therapist, that sort of thing. So,
absolutely.
yeah, 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 because we are having these conversations, right?
We are.
Hmm.
We are.
And this is new territory for some of us.
Yes. Yes.
It can
And
be a little scary and intimidating.
it can be a little scary. It can be a little intimidating. And that's why, one of the things we do to make sure that we are knowledgeable is that we try to educate ourselves. And that helps to minimize the stigma also. Let's
Yes.
get a little bit of education.
Mhm.
About 2 years ago, one things that I did was co-curated a video compilation of Black and Brown clinicians in South Florida. And it's just 5 minute segments of clinicians speaking about mental health. You can listen to it in your car, you can listen to it while you take a walk. It's just 5 minutes, and you can connect with a clinician. Their contact information is there, but it's one more step towards normalizing the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
about mental health, about mental wellness, about mental illness, and that is the direction, the progress that we need to move towards.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So definitely educate yourself. Any outside of the video, are there any other resources that you might suggest in terms of people increasing their knowledge and their information on mental health and wellness?
Absolutely. I'm sorry I didn't mention the name of the video. It's called I've Got Five on it, Mental
Okay.
Health Awareness, and my name, Belinda Gordon Battle on YouTube. But anyone can have access to that. But you also have multiple platforms where Black and Brown people are talking about mental health and mental wellness. Celebrities are supporting various platforms. But it's really important for you to consider for yourself, for your family, using your employee assistance program, EAP.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everyone on their job has insurance. Included in that insurance is mental health or behavioral health.
Mm-hmm.
You can go through your EAP and receive 6 to 10 counseling sessions that you have already paid for through your health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you say to yourself, oh, I don't really have anything to talk about. But I guarantee you that you will find something to speak about because you are living and breathing and part of this human experience. There is something that all of us can share with an objective, licensed mental health counselor and just get a little bit more support as we go through this life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, Michael Cork, who is a friend of mine and the host of his own morning show. In fact, I do a segment on Mondays called Mindful Moments. He said education awareness is essential to getting rid of the stigma. Thanks, Nicole, for championing the campaign. Oh, my pleasure. Yes, we
He's so right. This platform is perfect for that. He is so
thank
right.
thank you,
Mhm.
thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for again allowing me to share on your platform, Court, to spread the word about mental health and wellness. So I appreciate that. All right. Jerry said it used to bother me when I was told by certain people that I was dealing with depression, and the first thing they say is, Jerry, you don't have depression. You're a DJ. They don't understand that you don't see it. They don't see it. You in some instances acknowledge it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, you know,
That goes back to what we were saying about people having the capacity and being
right.
educated themselves about depression and actually just knowing how to communicate empathy and care for someone.
Yeah.
It's not so much his name is Jerry, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Jerry, that person um, doesn't care about you. They just don't understand depression, and they don't understand how to. We want to make you feel better immediately.
Yeah.
I want to say something that's going to make you feel better, and they don't understand that it's a process and it's a
Mhm.
healing process that you are
Mhm.
going through. And so, the more education that we can do with our family, our friends, our community, the better we will become at having those conversations and being able to support each and every one. The truth of the matter is, um, almost half of all adults are going to have some type of moment, experience, of mental illness. So the
Mm.
more we educate ourselves, the more we practice empathy, the more we make sure that we care about each other during good times and challenging times. The more
Mhm.
we practice that, the better we become.
Mhm. Very, very good point. So you also mentioned EAP, Employee Assistance Program. So I'm gonna poll our viewers. Has anybody utilized Employer Assistance Program for counseling services? If you will, again, give me a church finger, thumbs up, raise your hand, let us know. If you have utilized the employer assistance programs at your jobs. for counseling, let us know. Again, this is a safe space for us to
Mhm.
communicate with one another. Um,
Absolutely.
Isis, thankful for Nicole's ministry. Thank you, Isis. And you are one of my disciples because Isis has connected me with a number of clinicians over in Arkansas. So I appreciate it. All right. Jerry said, thank you. Isis said, I sure did. All right.
Mhm.
Love it.
Thank you.
Love it. Love
Absolutely.
it.
And it's confidential. It's easy access.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, someone's asked me to call with them.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a hesitation to ask for what she wanted. But understand, this is your health,
Yeah.
it's your mental health. You
Mm-hmm.
have every right to make a request for what you want. And what I mean is, she wanted a Black female,
Mm-hmm.
and she was given a list of people that did not meet that desire, that need for her. And I
Mm.
said, you have to go back and make that request because you don't know until you're told.
Right.
The person you're talking to, they don't know what you need.
Mm-hmm.
But she did not want to have a conversation that started with explaining every aspect of her culture. She did not
Right.
want that. And so when she got back on the phone, and I just was there to kind of guide her, but she did it and she got what she needed.
Mm.
You know, just like when you go to your medical doctor, you need to share as much as you can with that doctor so they know and understand what you need.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Very good point. Very good point. And don't be afraid
Mhm.
or ashamed to tell them what
No,
you need. It's okay.
no.
It
And if
really
you
is.
are, find someone to help you do it.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Indeed. Yes, for sure.
here.
Marjorie said,
Um,
say it again.
I was going to say, every person I speak to doesn't necessarily become my client. Part of
Right.
my responsibility is to make sure I refer you to someone that can actually meet as many of your needs as possible.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Marjorie said, I've been in a situation where someone had to be Baker acted. In that situation, it was dire. How does one decipher if this route should be implemented or if there is a time to connect with a counselor? Can 988 help you decide? So, I think with deciphering that, and you can, you know, Belinda chime in here, but I believe with the Baker Act piece, typically it's if they're going to be harm to themselves and others, and or others.
Mhm.
That's when that would be activated.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not sure. I would imagine 988 might be able to assist you with that, but I know here in Tallahassee, there is also a mobile response unit,
Mhm.
and these are clinicians that are on call um, at the with our law enforcement here in town. So there's one or several that are on rotation with the police department and the sheriff's department here in Tallahassee. So that if there is a mental health issue as opposed to a criminal issue, those people can kind of come and de escalate the situation or assess what's going on. So also maybe check to see if in your local area there is some type of mental health mobile response unit that could assist with something like that as well. Belinda.
Absolutely. I concur with everything you're saying. You know, the Baker Act is actually something that's in Florida. Every state does not actually have that same wording or that same policy. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
want to say.
Yeah.
But 988 is a starting ground if you don't have anyone in your Rolodex or in your contacts that you can call that's a licensed professional therapist. If you're able to get the person to a hospital, they can also do an assessment there.
Yes.
But it's really important to understand that you don't have to make that decision on your own.
Mm.
If you take the person or the person is willing to go get assessed by a professional, the professional licensed therapist, the professional licensed clinician can help direct the next steps.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we talked about just starting the conversation, maybe based on some of the things that are going on in the world. We talked about educating yourself, right?
Yes.
Utilizing some of the resources that are out there to increase your knowledge about mental health, researching and utilizing employer assistance programs from your job, as well as, and I'll just add this again, here in Tallahassee, there are actually free counseling services that are available to city residents. The city of Tallahassee pays for folks to get up to 3 free counseling sessions at some of the community centers.
Mhm.
So maybe your local government might be providing resources like that. So check and see,
Yeah,
right? Hmm.
absolutely.
All right. And then we also talked about just being
Yeah.
open, right? Being
Yep.
open to the process, being open to trying therapy, right?
Yes, just be open to that process. That's one thing, that I always encourage everyone. Be open to the process. If you are in an organization and you serve as a leader, you're a member of an organization, if you're a member of a church and you're a leader of a church or any religious organization, be open to the process of having a mental health counselor, a mental health therapist come in and speak about mental health and mental wellness. Um, every time you are coming together as a community, mental health, mental wellness should be on the agenda.
Mm.
There should not be anything going on in our community as far as government is concerned, as far as schools are concerned, as far as policing is concerned, as far as just having a family reunion. Mental health and mental wellness should be on that agenda for our gatherings as a people. So I think this is more important than anything else that we can do for each other right now is to just open our
Yes.
mouths and have that
Yes.
conversation.
Having those conversations, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Or at least starting them. At least starting them.
Yes.
All right. All right. Isa said she did a workshop at a family reunion on mental health and wellness. Loved it.
Everybody sent Christmas
Loved
gifts to
it.
ISIS. That's a wrap right there. She did everything she was supposed to do this year. She was a good girl. Send her a Christmas gift right now.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah, we have to do that with our
Yeah. Or maybe
families. Yes.
for
Yes.
sure. Or if you know a clinician, see if they would be willing to do a talk, or maybe do
Absolutely.
something via Zoom. If that,
Mhm.
if you all. So at one time, me and my family were doing these monthly Zoom meetings,
Yeah.
right, during the pandemic. So maybe invite a clinician to come in and give a talk around
Mhm.
some topic with
Yeah.
your family members. There are a number of ways that this can be done. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to think out of the box and make sure, we know how our family members are. We know who they are. We know how they are. We know their attention span. So it doesn't need to be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. It just needs to be an opportunity to just have those conversations, hear about it. You're dropping a seed
Yes.
at the next family gathering.
Yes. Yes.
Somebody is going to come up to you and say, I was thinking about that.
Mm-hmm. For
One
sure.
of those young people, one of those elders are going to say something to you to let you know you're moving in the right direction.
Right.
Just drop the seed.
Drop the seed. Love it. All right. Isa says she's trying to get these 3,000 hours. So she working on her hours towards being licensed. She says, send Starbucks gift cards, please.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, she said, but grateful for this path. Indeed. Indeed.
It's a great path to take, and we need more clinicians, Black and Brown clinicians across the country.
Yes.
Um, we need it because we are the ones that have to take care of each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
For sure.
And back in Africa, which I always consider our home base, we
Mm-hmm.
had counselors in our communities.
Right.
We had people that we could go to for counseling, advisement, and support. we're
Mhm.
continuing that tradition even here in America. So
Yeah.
let's make sure that we have licensed, objective professionals that can work with us as individuals, work with our children, work with our parents, work with our colleagues. Let's make
Yeah.
sure we're in place for that.
For sure, for sure, for sure. All right, we got Frank Kell on. He said, "This was a wonderful conversation. Thank you all. I find it so useful to hear great advice from people who look like me." Yes, good thing, good
That's
thing.
beautiful. I
Yeah,
received that. Thank you.
for sure. Thank you, Frank Kell, for being on here. It's one of my garden buddies. We participate in a community garden here in town. So yeah, cool.
I love that. A community garden.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
healing too, you know.
It is. It
It
is.
is.
Yeah,
It is.
we were there this Saturday, and there was a woman that walked by that was like, she just moved to the neighborhood. She was homeless, but the shelter that she was at helped her get a place. She's like, I don't have any furniture, but I got a place, and y'all just gave me some food, and I'm just glad. And we were just so it just blessed us so, you know. So yeah, 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 yeah.
Sorry. Coffee break.
It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. All right. Isis, great conversation. Thanks for all you do. Oh, Isis, again, my pleasure. I'm loving this labor of love. I love this aspect of what I do, and I just hope that folks are really benefiting from the conversations and are, connecting in a meaningful way and can share what we talk about here with others who you all think can benefit from it as well, because that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Hey there, Pam. Thanks for being here. All right, so I think we have covered it, so I'm not going to belabor the point, but how can folks connect with you?
Oh, with me, I'm around on Facebook under BGB Counseling Services. I'm around on Instagram under at BGB Counseling Services or at BGB underscore just be a therapist.
Hmm.
I'm around on LinkedIn, Belinda Gordon Battle. And once again, I've got five on it. Mental health awareness YouTube video that I curated with Delphine Jervis, another amazing Black clinical therapist and social worker.
Yes.
I also have a show. My season has ended, but I will come back in the new year, and it's called Mental Wellness for the Culture. You
Hmm.
can find that show on the Culture.
All right, mental wellness for the culture. It's at the bottom of the screen there. I think Belinda may have froze on us.
We are getting our needs addressed
Okay.
in the community, and it doesn't matter what community you're in. I
Hmm.
will make an effort to find what you need to get the support that you require.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, my mom is on here. She said,
Oh,
I am really glad to hear these thoughts. Thank you, Mom. Appreciate you
Mom is looking amazing. Wow, I
being
love that.
Yeah, thank you. Vanetta, I enjoyed the conversation. Thanks to you both, Nicole and Belinda. Our pleasure. Thank you for being on here, Vaughn. All right, Marjorie, amazing information and advice. Thank you. Our pleasure, Marjorie. Thank you for
Good
being
luck.
here.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. So, wow, this was great. I'll definitely do a recap of this and post it for folks to,
Yay.
definitely refer back to. So, we want to encourage you all to have these holiday conversations and
Mhm.
keep this going
Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely.
For those of you who do not subscribe to the Conversations with Nicole Facebook, I invite you to do so. I'm sorry, YouTube. We invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are running a contest currently where the person with the most views and comments will win a CWN swag bag.
Mm.
And that's running through December 31st. So We want you to let one video play per day, a minimum of one video play per day for the month of December. I know there are a lot of educators out there. Many of you are on break right now. You have nothing to do. It's cold outside, so watch some videos or play them at least. All right. We appreciate that. All right. We got a few more folks chiming in. Miss Sonya just joining. Loving what you're hearing. Thank you for being here, Sonya. And Jerry, valuable. Thanks for the valuable info. Our pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Yes. Sonya said, "Oh, that's why." Yes, that's why. Play them videos. I'm trying to reach 3,000 viewing hours. 3,000 viewing hours. The contest started in December.
Okay.
Mr. Johnny. Contest started in December, so you got time, you got time, you got time. All right, good people. We are going to call it an evening. We will be here on Wednesday. I have Dr. Kenneth Fowler, who's based here in Tallahassee. We're going to talk about holiday stress, so we invite you to come back here on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Belinda, thank you so much for your knowledge, your expertise, your great words of wisdom, and to help us deal with, some of those difficult holiday conversations. We really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Nicole. You made this so easy and so comfortable. I could go on and talk to you. You are amazing. Thank you for having this platform, and I'm honored to just spend some time with you to talk about mental wellness and making sure that we address mental wellness and normalize mental health in our own communities. And I wish you the best in the new year. I hope you reach your 3,000 very soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I'll connect with you soon down in South Florida. So
All right.
I'll make it
Mojitos on me.
okay, I love it. I love it. All right, good people. We'll see y'all next time. Good night.